Alright guys, now, the Black Ops 3 beta. It's come and it's gone. It was out for like 5 days. It's had this little time. It was same basic Call of Duty. It was sort of had the same basic Call of Duty kind of feel, you know, set list of game modes. Although it still was a beta, only 3 maps available. But one thing weirdly I just want to know is, how are there people at like level 44 on this? Like, just were there people just constantly playing this beta non-stop? That just kind of gets me. Like, I'm not gonna use this as a case to say, oh, you know, games like gaming, blah blah blah. Too much gaming is bad for you, blah. If you wanna go ahead and sit your life in front of a TV or a computer screen with controls in your hand and just play games, go ahead. You're not harming anyone, or you're not really physically harming anyone, although you may be causing some mental harm to people, but ultimately you're not really harming people. So in my philosophy, go ahead and do that. But I still don't understand how people were at level 44 when this beta was out only for 5 days, and this was like on the first day it was out, so they must have been playing for straight the moment they finished downloading. Anyway, Black Ops 3 beta, it's come, it's had its little time to do its song and dance to show off what it's about, and it's gone. And I'm kind of glad I actually got to play, because it allows me to see, and allows a lot of other people to see what direction they're taking the Call of Duty franchise. And they've pretty much continued in the same step as they previously have done from Advanced Warfare, I think. That was the last one, where that was just balls to the walls, batshit, flaming demons amount of crazy arcade-ness. And that's kind of one thing I actually like about this game. It's kind of shed its realistic roots. I mean, the mix between realism and arcade, that worked for a certain amount of time. I mean, it kind of stopped working in Black Ops. It worked well in Modern Warfare 1, and worked brilliantly in Modern Warfare 1. It actually worked quite well in World of War, because Modern Warfare 1, World of War, and even Modern Warfare 2, you actually had to go into those games with a fair bit of strategy if you wanted to do quite well into it. Of course, in Modern Warfare 2, one strategy proved to trump the rest, which was 360 no scopes and tomahawks and throwing knives across. No, tomahawks across the maps was Black Ops. Throwing knives across the maps, same kind of, same shit. Anyway, but I'm kind of glad that that Black Ops 3 has continued to do what Advanced Warfare started, shed this whole realism kind of thing, and just leave it out in the dust to dry. Like, I think the one thing that'll actually revitalise the Call of Duty franchise and may actually bring it back from the dead, so to speak, if this game was Lazarus himself, is to just accept that we all know this game isn't realistic. Just accept that you are an arcade Twitch style shooter, embrace that, go full mental, add jetpacks, rockets, add Michael Bay explosions every 3 seconds if you want, but just accept the fact, and I'm glad this game has finally done it, that you're not a realistic game anymore. So, the next time the media wants to play video games for mass murders and massacres, we can all just say, you do not learn how to kill people on Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is probably one of the most unrealistic games out there. But anyway, what else about this beta? I gotta say, the control, like the user interface, I don't know why they just had to feel they had to make it more complex or just look more complicated, and it's kind of like the thing I'd expect to see from a Windows update. It's just unneeded and unnecessary just to make the user interface look new. They have to shuffle everything around, they have to put different categories into different sub-menus. It's kind of annoying, like, that I really didn't get, which pissed me off, especially when I wanted to do stuff like, you know, create my own emblem, which I don't think you could do that anymore. You could create paint jobs, which you can put on your guns. As you've probably noticed, I've got one on the gun I've got in the gameplay, but you can only put one paint job on a gun at a time. So you could create as many paint jobs for all the guns you want, but you're only allowed to put one paint job on each gun at a time, which annoyed me because, again, just accept that it's an arcade game. Just let us go crazy with it. Let's go completely balls to the walls crazy with this and make it full arcadey. So user interface I really didn't like. Now the specialist abilities, I'm mixed about these. Like, what these are is like, there's different specialist classes or characters that you have to pick, but each one's got like an offensive and a defensive ability. I picked like I can't remember what she's called. She's the hooded woman, but I picked the sparrow because that's like a offensive weapon. And that bow she's got, oh my goodness, does that just do damage? Like, it fires explosive rounds, but like, if you hit someone perfectly, they will just send them flying. I remember, like, I ran around the corner, I just quickly aimed down the bow, fired it, caught an enemy, got him right up the backside. He went flying across the map, and then he just exploded into a pool of blood. I was clapping and laughing with joy, which is rather sadistic. I mean, these gameplay elements, added them in, is kind of a good thing. Call of Duty's adding in some different things, but ultimately, if Call of Duty wants to be revive itself, it just needs to become even more arcadey, even more stupid, even more random, even more bizarre. And that's my thoughts on the Black Ops 3 beta. No real introduction, I just flew right into it, no real structure as always. But now I'm going to check out the new YouTube service for gaming and I'll give my feedback.